to my Weird Wednesday stream here on lichess and Twitch. Sparkle Horse on lichess. And Sladgie is my name on Twitch. We're here with the Ponda. Hey, what's up, guys? Good to see you. I love Weird Wednesday. Play unusual openings, preferably H4. No, seriously. I just like to play sometimes H5 a little bit. Anyway, guys, let's get started. So, unusual openings means I'm playing stuff a little bit outside the normal. Not necessarily ridiculous stuff. I might be tempted to play like one knight h6 here or there, but I'm not going to play the Bon Cloud and f3 on the first move and stuff. So we'll try to keep the worst of the openings off the menu today. We got a challenge. We've got a challenge from Nils. He's 1811. I'm thinking, I'm wondering what his max rating was. Has he gone up? Hovering around the same rating. I am taking the subscribers first, guys. So, I10-year-old is from Azerbaijan. That's kind of impressive. The Azeri player is very strong. If he's literally 10 years old, he's doing all right at 1945. Bob, what's up, man? Wacky Wednesday. Welcome everybody to the stream. Let's get some Ponda emotes out there in the house. Come on, Ponda. Ponda emotes. If you guys subscribe to tier 2, you can get Ponda emotes yourself on Twitch. Anyway, please support the stream and make some donations. Subscribe. We've got a good amount of subscriptions. Let's get started. Nils playing 5+3. Weird Wednesday, which means unusual systems that I don't typically play. I think Nils pre-moved or something. Can you do that? Pre-move on move 1? Have we played? I'm supposed to play weird openings. Okay, it takes me a minute to like concentrate and remember what I'm doing here. I was going to play G6, which isn't that weird for me. Play the Polish defense. What kind of product? That sounds like the setup for a joke, Bob. I'm not going to fall for it. How much do you charge to haunt a house, Bob? That's an old school joke. Usually best for trolling people of the opposite sex. Okay, so Nils just took on b5, transposing... Well, not transposing. I mean, this is literally a Polish opening. Speaking of trolls... I like the central pawn majority that Black has here, but I have had some games where I felt like I was under a lot of pressure in this line. This is actually recommended by Andras Shadorian, Hungarian Grandmaster, and he's an opening authority. He recommends playing like this as white. I always thought it was strange. Once I saw like Michael Rode do this, just take the pawn on b5, I always thought, my inclination was that this is a bad exchange for white because he's trading a flank pawn for a central pawn, or a central pawn for a flank pawn. And I mean, I know c4 there are many lines here. Just intuitively, it seems strange to do that. I guess this is a principled approach. Nils can play like knight c3 and then hammer the d pawn forward with like with d5. Wouldn't I have like c6 at the end of the day there? Kind of freeing myself. I guess I'm still going to be backwards. If you play like bishop b7, d5, c6, for example. The Fort Knox variation of the Polish with bishop takes f3. The French defense. A major raid. Oh my god. Turzo, what are you doing, man? Turzo is... Turzo. We try to pronounce it correctly, alright? I'm sorry, I'm American. Even living in Hungary for 14 years, I still don't intuitively pronounce names correctly. It's Turzo. Turzo Attila. Very hard to make that sound. Turzo Attila is raiding with a party of 38. Where did you get a party of 38 at this hour? Where did you pick up 38 at this hour, Turzo? Turzo must start at 6 o'clock in the morning. All right. Good to see you, Attila. Playing unusual openings here today. Greetings, everyone. Major raid. That's the biggest raid I've seen in a long time. They're raiding. Attila the Hun is raiding with a party of 38. Literally. Now I can't play c6. It's too late for that, so we're going to have to try something else. Yeah, white is better here. Just better. This is probably standard. Now there's no time for like c6. Bishop a4 was an accurate move too. Nils is like an expert on beating the Polish defense, apparently. Strange. We're in a lot of trouble here, children. I guess we'll just try to get our pieces out. Where do you pick up 38 viewers at 6 o'clock in the morning? No, it's already 10. It's not that late. But it's not that early. I'm still not awake yet. And Attila's raiding with 38. Okay. So what happens in this raid situation? Is it a friendly raid? I don't know anything about where Attila the Hun was buried. This better be a friendly raid, because I'm going to bring my panda friends. We're going to have ourselves a battle. Alright. Knight c5 and then a5, for lack of a better plan. This position is really starting to creep me out. I'm going to have to get creative to hold on here. Maybe I can take on d5 at some point and play like bishop a6 and give my knight a retreat square. Absolutely desperate now. He's playing like brutally well. Can I play a4? It looks like it drops a pawn. Maybe force him to give up. It could force him to give up the dark squared bishop to win it though, but I don't think that's really worth it. Though bishop a6 just helps him develop more pieces. So it's kind of a problem. Okay, I can always bring my knight back to a6. Let's not panic. You know, that's one thing that is very easy to do in chess in general. Panic prematurely, and it leads to a lot of losses. So it looks like I can just suck it up, take on b4, play like knight a6, and accept that my knight is offside temporarily, but he weakens his b pawn if he plays b4. Basically, I'm terrified now. d6 weakens my position too much, I think. With this, we take to the e4 square in some variations. It was very important that I managed to avoid that bishop a6 type of line, because in that scenario, I'm just developing his pieces for him. With like rook e1, I mean, that's really, really looking bad now. I take pressure off of d5. I don't develop anything. But Nils is really putting the pressure on me here. Basically, I don't play the Polish defense. I actually play I have played seriously the St. George. But in a sense, I like the St. George better because this scenario doesn't happen. I play a6. I don't trade those pawns, the b for the e. B for the e. Yeah. Now he can play like queen h4 transfer. And I've got to be very careful about a knight coming into d4. Though if queen h4, yeah, and queen h4 is good. That's, I assumed, his point. Maybe I could play knight e4 there. But he's not only playing well, he's playing fast too. Not allowed to do that. That's not nice. Very, very tough game here in round 1. No longer knight a6 on the table. White has a spatial advantage. He's played really, really well. But hopefully we can hold it together now. It's looking a little better than it was. We're compact. We got our pieces out. Both our bishops are on the long diagonals. Now he's been forced to make a retreating move. Give me bishop or give me death. Who said that? Bobby and Jimmy. Where's Jimmy, Bobby? Bishop e3. He's just maintaining the status quo here. I do have rook a3 harassing. Just more activity. Let's get as much as we can. Paschall. It's close enough. Closer than most people anyway. Paschall. I was thinking of creating a new account called Paschall Williams. A lot of the Hungarians have trouble because, Hungarian names are backwards. They say like, Attila Turzo is actually Turzo Attila. And William Paschall is Paschall William. People will call me like Williams, because my family name is... You got a tactic for me? It looks like he's got a trick here. Several tricks. Knight takes d5. But he's going to have a discovery. It's going to seriously mess me up. I guess, well, he can't play knight c6 in this scenario. I've got to watch my c7 pawn, but he's got to watch the d5 pawn. So we both have static weaknesses. Two last names, Paschall Williams. But there's this French grandmaster, not French, but French-Canadian, Pascal Charbonneau. And then people would always get us confused. And then people would get like his last name confused with another French name that was kind of close to that. Okay, this is... Oh my god. Okay, I'm about to lose on time. We're going to try to sack an exchange or something. Get creative here. Take the initiative. Really good game by Nils, though. Super competitive. Maybe we can take him out on time. What was the... Knight c6 now. Okay, everything's protected. I guess he could even try something else there. We have this. Reactionary. Don't be reactionary. Alright. The bishop b5 was a strong move. Think a little bit on the aggressive side. Don't be passive. That was troubling Thursday. Yeah, this was troubling Wednesday. Nils, what's up? Freaky Friday. Draco Fire, long time no see. So just quickly, if you want to have a look at the opening, I think that this is a good line for white. Dorian. I don't remember if Andras recommends like c4 or not, but it seems to be the main line. Nils is well, he's well prepared. Most people aren't well prepared for the Polish. So let's see. Kramnik against Carlsen, 2011, 1-0. That's a bad sign. I thought about seriously doing bishop takes f3 here. The computer will probably give him like a plus 1.5 advantage. Now bishop a4, not the main move, the second main move. Best move according to the engine at first glance, though that doesn't necessarily stand up. Plus 1 advantage for white out of the opening. This is why you don't play this line of the Polish. I honestly think that maybe a6 is just a better move, and actually it stands up to the statistical test there. Look at the results. Transposing to the St. George is 27% wins for white, 45% wins for black. If you play bishop b7, this Polish defense, I mean, I think that a6 may just be a better move. The conclusion, the St. George is better than the Polish. Okay, Bob Sakamano, subscriber. Guys, please support the stream. Help me make it possible to continue to do these streams. I sound like an infomercial, or I sound like a public television commercial here, you know, a fundraiser for public television. But make it possible, guys. Support the stream. Hey guys, thank you for subscribing. Please donate, support the stream. You can also make donations via PayPal, and we really appreciate it. Okay, bye bye. Look at the sad eyes on the panda. e4. I played my St. George already effectively. So what do we play? I don't play the Grob. Okay, let's play e5 and play something unusual. Wow, panda immediately got results. Who is that? Is that Nils? Mel Blank donated 101 bits. Thank you, Mel. Mel has donated before, and he's been very supportive in the last week or two. Thank you so much, man. Knight f3. I want to play something. I don't know. The Philidor's bad. I want to play a line of the Petrov, but Bob probably won't take on e5. If I play knight f6, knight takes e5, queen e7. This guy Afromeyev played a lot of games with queen e7, and I saw recently someone even played it against Morozevich, like last year or something. Very strange variation. Knight f6, knight e5, queen e7. The Afromeyev Petrov. But seriously, what am I going to play? Let's play the Latvian against Bob. We're here for fun openings, so let's see what Bob knows about the Latvian. Maybe he knows Jerry Lewis telethon. Just a telethon. That's what I meant. The word I'm looking for. Telethon. We need to do a telethon once a year. Maybe that'll be our major fundraiser. Twitch telethon. That was a good game, Nils, in general. I think you held the advantage well beyond the first half of the game. I was spatially in trouble. And I don't like that line, to be honest. I'll play a6 any day of the week over bishop takes e4. But normally I begin with like a6 on move 1 when I play the St. George. Though it doesn't change anything. I mean, white clearly is going to play e4 and d4 when you play a6 on move 1. Almost nobody does anything else. I've had a few people who played like e4, a6, c4, which is interesting. I mean, there's nothing wrong with it. The Latvian will teach Bob not to play e4. He played knight takes e5. So the main line of the Latvian is to play queen f6, kids. That's probably the best move. Am I doing this right? There was a time when I was actually playing the Latvian in the blitz, like, regularly. But it was a long time ago, and we're talking like 15 years ago. The early 2000s, like, in the range of like 1999 and like 2002 probably. I was actually experimenting with the Latvian. Never really intended in ever playing it in a tournament game. But it is fun in blitz. I've also experimented with the Schliemann. Spinal Tap chess. This is not an adult channel. This is not intended for mature audiences. Bob goes with the queen h5. The wacky Spinal Tap guy. He's like the Crypt Keeper. He only comes online at night. In the middle of the night. The hours of darkness. Am I playing this right? Oh yeah, now I remember. There's a funny variation. Is there like queen g5? Rook g8, pawn takes f5. Bob just played queen f5. You know, another crafty move. But it doesn't necessarily improve White's position, does it? So I should just play d6 rather than d5. If d6, he's forced to stay in the orbit of that knight on g6, and then I can play like d6, queen g5, rook g8. Hyper accurate move that basically shuts him down. See, Bob's trying to get cute. He's hoping that I'll take his knight. I was thinking the same thing about like queen g5. Not like I ever thought about this position in my life. I mean, most people just automatically play queen h3 and queen h4. Those are the two main lines after knight f6. One of them is significantly better than the other. And I can't remember. I think queen h3 is the professional move. Am I right, Spinal Tap Chess? Do you know anything about the Latvian? He's supposed to go here. That's supposed to be slightly more accurate than queen h4 for some reason. And then I have to decide whether I want to be down a pawn or down the exchange. All of which is unsound for black, by the way. Doesn't make it any easier for white to play this in a fast game if he doesn't know what he's doing. Spinal Tap is like an expert on the Latvian. He's tactically awesome, but positionally he sucks. International master Spinal Tap Chess. Known for his Shirov-like style. Shirovian. But Bob is in serious trouble here. He's down a piece for 2 pawns. What's he got? 3 pawns for it? Wait, how did you get 3 pawns? Seriously, you have 3 pawns for the piece? Oh well. I mean, I guess on paper that's enough compensation. Seems like black's much better developed though. Alright, how do I want to set up and where do I want to put my king? Probably the most important question I can answer here is basically deciding what to do with my king. I guess queen e7 could be an important component. Although breaking the pin is probably not a bad idea either. If I play queen e7, I have to watch out for d3, knight c3, bishop g5. He's going to play most likely like d3 at some point. This move might threaten knight d4 though, which could simplify the game and also create havoc at c2. Thank you for the support, guys. 101 bits donated. We can drive him back. Knight d4, then take with the knight on d7. There's also knight e5 actually. But that's a different idea. Alright, I'm going to lose on time here. If we're not careful. Actually, queen takes g6 is mate. So he might have some weird alternative. That's a nasty mate. I mean, with my knight on d7, it's not mate. What am I talking about? Never mind. It might as well be mate, though, because I have stuff like bishop g5 and whatnot. Bishop takes d7 check, knight takes d7. Maybe I should just take with my king. Of course I should take with my king. It's a safe haven for the king. I'm a genius to come up with that. I thought of this on my own. It's not quite as safe as castling, but it sort of saves some time. It's like a budget move. Discount castling for cheap people who don't want to waste tempi to get their king to a really safe position. This is like a... Soltiga, what's up? We had a 38 player raid from Torzo Attila. The dude is just... He's running with bands of Huns across the plains of Twitch. He's a cult-like following. Queen e8. I feel like I'm playing the Cochrane Gambit. Another fun opening, though, that nobody ever plays against me. They only play Queen e2 when I play the Petrov. It's basically killed Nefedov and playing Queen e2, and actually now Kramnik and Wesley So they might as well make some videos on Queen e2 against the Petrov or something and create a worldwide trend. Can you imagine? It's worse than the London system. Play Queen e2 against the Petrov. Resisting the temptation to play. We're definitely resisting the temptation to play this move. I don't know about c5. Maybe I just pack it in with my knight. You know, we'll pack it in and bring it back. It's done its purpose, done its job. Trying to support it with c5 would probably weaken my king and weaken my white square significantly. Good money after bad money, basically. And something like bishop there. Where are you castling? I feel like I'm playing Chess 960. Good to see you guys. We've had a couple good streams in a row. I think this is going to be another one. Focusing on playing unusual lines that I typically don't play. Got the Latvian here against Bob. He's got 3 pawns for a piece. I guess it's not that bad for white, though I prefer black. I guess in the endgame, you know, if Bobby can make it to the endgame, the 3 pawns are superior to a piece. It really depends on where you're playing with the 3 pawns. You know, in the opening, middle game, it's not clear the 3 pawns really equal the piece, but in the endgame, the 3 pawns can actually be stronger than a piece. So I think, you know, the phase of the game is of vital importance when it comes to a material imbalance of that sort. You know, another situation you see often is like people who trade 2 pieces for rook and pawn. Typically, the 2 pieces are going to be more valuable in the early part of the game, but the rook might be, you know, more valuable later on. Now he's got possibilities of queen g4 check at some point, so I probably need to think about this. Knight d5. Well, I mean, I had to recapture with something. I guess knight d5 might have been a better try. Now, by trading queens, I think he actually avoids the worst of it, and he might be... I don't want to say he's better, but I don't think he's worse. You know, with this exchange of queens, probably white is okay. You know, he's really literally okay. He's not worse. He's not really better, for sure. My evaluation would be about equal. Though I have the active pieces and the active king. Should we go for it with like g5? The Bob-matic 2000. That's like Bob's Discount Furniture, something like that. I had this sudden inclination to trade knights. Like 2 rooks and a bishop might be my best chance. I've got the lone bishop. Bob just blundered. Blunderific. Just when it was okay, Bob. A lot of people do that, though. The budget king. The budget king is active. I'm a cheap guy, man. I couldn't be wasting wasting any time with taking 2 moves to decide my king position. Yeah, so Bob is going under, it looks like. There's still some practical questions to sort out here. He's still got 2 pawns for a piece. It shouldn't be anywhere near enough now. Alright, he resigned suddenly. Why the sudden resignation? Oh, he hung the pawn on b2, but he's not really hanging it. I guess bishop takes b2, rook b1, bishop there, and bishop b6. Yeah, he's screwed now. But interesting. Another interesting game, so it makes the Weird Wednesday really worth it. Like, we get some fun positions. So let's see if anyone's ever done this. I mean, it doesn't seem really proper to play queen f5 or whatever. Rouse is the only player crazy enough to play this. Bob Felber, Emil Pessi, and Jan Turner. Who's Jan Turner? I had a friend named Jan, and people always called him Jan. It's like, pissed him off. So queen f5 is like a novelty. Double question mark. d6 best move. No one's ever done this. Did I miss something better, though? Like, it's minus 1.5, -2 for black. I must have made a terrible blunder myself. Through bishop b5, apparently bishop d7 is an inaccuracy. And then my budget castling move was deemed an inaccuracy. And my advantage just starts to drift. Computer likes knight takes. I wasn't sure if he could attack my g6 pawn and sacrifice on c2, but basically he's chased back, and Engine likes this line a lot better. Dubious opening for black, yes. That's the point. So I've got challenges from these guys who are not subscribers. We're going to take those until we get more subscriber challenges. Subscribers, wake up, and whatever. It's early in the morning for any Americans here. JCS. And Spinal Tap Chess, I know. Bob as well. So, 10-year-old Scotch. He's actually not 10-year-old Scotch. He's 10-year-old Azeri. We're supposed to play unusual opening. So no knight f3 unless I've got something really creative cooked up for the next move. Playing not totally unsound openings, just kind of weird stuff if I can. Good morning, the Fuchsia. America #1 baby. Bob obviously attended the United Nations yesterday. All right, knight c6. They should fly a baby Trump balloon over the United Nations. That would be funny. All right. We're not laughing at you, we're laughing with you, Bob. Knight f6. And we're going to play the open Roy Lopez. I don't know, I'm not playing an unusual opening. I screwed up. I got extracted. I got extracted from what I was doing. We'll do the best we can here. Let's play, just play this game, move on to the next one. I can't play an unusual opening now. I screwed up. I got distracted and started playing normal system. Oops. Alright, let's try something I don't normally do. The doubly delayed exchange variation or whatever it's called. The dirtle. Oh no, Spinal Tap just got timed out. False advertising. This is just kind of a boring system for white, which shouldn't really pose any difficulty. But I forgot my unusual opening idea, and whoops. Sorry guys, the boringness of what is basically looking like 2 knights reversed or something. He has the bishop pair, and I have this kind of Rubinstein set up here. Twitch Moobot, Sladgie to set up and manage Moobot. Uh-oh, what happened? Mubat add regular. Oh, Soltico's there. I was like, what is Mubat doing? I thought Mubat was like malfunctioning or something. Alright, good job. So, make... Sorry. We have like allergies. Asthmatic allergy attack here. Wow, 98. He wants to play F5. So let's change the dynamic now. It's always counterintuitive. Like, you don't know what to do. Sorry again, guys, not to play a weird opening this game, but luckily it's a fast time control. It shouldn't last too long. The boringness of this open. It's always counterintuitive though to knowing what to do, as to knowing what to do when you have the two bishops, but you're a little behind in development. You know, because the rule is open the position when you have the bishops, but if you're not that well developed, you know, that rule kind of should be a little tricky to apply. Man, should I just try to blast it open? Again, the same thing for me though. Like, I'm ahead in development, but I'm facing a guy with the bishop pair. You know, should I, or kid, should I, you know, how should I handle it, in other words? That's what makes chess hard. You got these like basically competing, what's the word I'm looking for? Competing principles. B3, bishop f6. I think black's got a good game there. Possibly even winning a piece. Like, is he winning a piece after b3, bishop f6? No. I have a defense with queen d3 and knight e2, maybe. Maybe. Probably that doesn't even work. Some bishop b5 trick. I think he's like winning material if I do that, literally. Man, this is kind of awkward. Okay. I actually have a similar correspondence game going on. But I don't like this B file harassing me. That's why I like B3 for the most part. I don't know, I'm running out of time. It's a fast game. What about the old Benoni? Nobody plays the old Benoni, Bob. Maybe the snake Benoni, because that sounds cooler. The old Benoni, it just sounds lame. It just sounds like you're old. There's something not right about my setup. Queen on e2 with the knights here doesn't seem right. Okay, he's got his problems too. I mean, his knight is messed up, this is messed up, so it's not exactly an optimal situation. But still, I don't think I like everything about my position either. He's stopping e5, which was his main point there. I can't seem to figure out a way to get coordinated properly. I mean, there are 100 moves I could play, but I'm just not happy with any of them, really. This looks strange. The woozle. Put my queen on c4. Like, it's just utterly stupid. The woozle is something from, like, a Dr. Seuss story, right? Now, this is finally some sort of mistake by black, fortunately. He had c5 there, and I like black's position. After bishop takes d4, he's making a concession. I mean, now I'm slightly better again. I think if he had just played c5, my queen is very questionable on c4. I understand why he played bishop takes d4. He feels cramped, but it's another example of human weakness, of like seeking simplification when you're uncomfortable. There are questions to be answered, and we don't want to keep the tension. But now we have a simple position where I'm just a little bit better. I know all Dr. Seuss stories, Wacky Wednesday included. No, the Woozle was from a Dr. Seuss TV special. I think it was like one of those Halloween Dr. Seuss TV specials when I was a little kid. There was this awesome animated, I mean awesome for the 80s, like animated TV special. Okay, so very solid player, very principled. This character, 10-year-old. It's still not clear if he's 10 years old or he just drinks 10-year-old scotch. Either way, it's cool. Our stream is for all ages. It's not intended for mature audiences like Spinal Tap and Bob. But we also have people that are intended for adult audiences that enjoy. So everybody enjoys my stream. Alright. Opposite colored bishops. I like white a little bit better here. It's not much, but we can do something. Objectively, what black is probably okay. He should probably hold this. But I wouldn't want to play Magnus Carlsen with either color, but I'd rather have Magnus be black. If I had to play black has a deformed pawn structure. It should give white a tiny bit of a pull. We have the leverage of like e5 in some situations. He'll probably play f6. He's also got the weakness over there. Knight b6. Not exactly a great square. Do you want to get funky and play rook g5? It feels kind of artificial to me. Let's not and say we did. Very principled player. But we've got the plan of g5. It's a long way in the future, I guess. I'm stopping f5, kind of freezing him. But I think we need to play on both sides of the board here in order to have chances to realistically win. This is a situation where white is playing for the principle of two weaknesses. Played c4. c4 is a reasonable move. I'm kind of going crazy with the h4, but that's fine. It's part of the plan in the long run. Maybe I should preface it with like king g2 first. I don't think there's anything you can do. I mean, f5's not good. Whoa, a5. That's an interesting move. I've had enough of this. He's pretty strong for 1945. I don't remember other game. But 1945, it's respectable. I mean, people sometimes play like masters at that rating. They're not consistently playing like masters, but they're capable of playing individual games like masters. I think that's about the level where you essentially start to be able to beat, say master strength players from time to time. Which way do I take back? Compact toward the center. Wow. Okay, we're going to go for this. I mean, I might regret this. But it's an outside pawn. Kind of a runner. And I had to make a decision, so... Wow, dude. He's fast, too. Is this already a mistake? Oh, I missed a good tactic there. I had a really strong move. step away from the chalupa. Man, this is tough. I missed some kind of white square threat, like any kind of queen f1 in one moment. Hitting c4 could have caused a lot of damage. Looks like we still got it. Because white squares are very weak. But he played very tough. This is still, he's still being stubborn. Yeah, I'm not thrilled. Not really thrilled with the way I played this. Well, now he's got some sort of tactics. Queen takes. Damn, dude, he's good tactically as well. That was a close game. I don't know. I mean, it got kind of out of control. Hopefully I was never losing. Let's take a quick look. We got some lag kicking in with a 314 ping. I don't know what's up with that. Luckily, it didn't affect the outcome of the game. So at one point he was equal, according to Stockfish here. He had actually battled to equality on move 30. A couple points he had equalized, according to the computer anyway. The computer didn't like my weakening move g4, but I need to have a plan there. Okay, Mega Knight's challenging me to a really weird time control. Alright, whatever. 4 plus 4. We're doing like 5 plus 3 through through 7 plus 3. He likes like cubic time controls. Alright, Melahemavati is up next. I would take the subscribers if we had any challenges from them, but they seem to be quiet today. Remember that I have to play unusual openings. I played a mainline Roy Lopez there, and that's not what we're supposed to be here for today. Playing unusual, different stuff that I'm typically not employing. Bob, why the violent reference? You're feeling violent today. Alright. Bob makes a good point. When a 10-year-old is 1945, he's going to have some unusual strengths. I mean, perhaps B4. So he's following the theme. You guys don't have to play unusual openings. Don't feel like it's like required on your part. I'm trying to have fun and mess around with different stuff here. So B4, I normally play D5, but let's play something else. This is a kind of unusual system that I employed sometimes. But I feel like white is already going down the weird opening route here, so we don't have to do anything. This is a weird answer to a weird opening. Maybe his second move is inaccurate. Experts play like E3, I think. Now I'm trying to recall the trick here. Yeah, there is a trick, isn't there? Yeah, he knows this. So after AB, C5 becomes playable for white. Do you guys hear a weird ringing sound in the background of the stream? Dracofire says, I remember when you played this against Meb. Are you talking to me? You remember when I played this? Dracofire plays b4, no? Dracofire, this isn't you, is it? Is this your account? I remember when you played this against me, not Meb. Oh, I figured it out. I'm like Sherlock Holmes. What a detective skill. Melahemavadi. So he knows this. And now it's like white is basically fine. I just had the crazy thought of sacking my queen, but queen for rook and bishop doesn't seem like quite enough here. That's just not good. It's not the PC fan. You might hear a PC fan, but I was referring to a different noise. I think it's my refrigerator. But it's making some kind of weird sonic echo. Yeah, you might hear the PC fan, but that wasn't, unfortunately, the noise that I was referring to. The Chinese embassy is just a few streets away, like 2 streets away. So they might be sending out like sonic warfare or something like that. Like the Cubans. I don't know where the Cuban embassy is. Actually, does Hungary even have it? They must have a Cuban embassy. Okay, bishop takes a1. Haven't seen the Cuban embassy. I live in the embassy district. Well, relatively close. Why don't I just play d5 there? Well, I don't know. I'm asking myself questions because you guys aren't asking them. I want to maybe undermine that strong pawn on c5. I just located myself. Well, not that specifically. It's a funny, my funny drink coaster. I finally quit drinking for good. Now I drink for evil, Bob. I'm trying to make 2s in a row. Camel culture. You're playing on a different server yesterday. Everyone was crazy strong. It's so weird he says server. You said server. You must be more than like 17 years old to say server. It sounds like something from my computer science department at BU in the 90s. No, the sound stopped now. Sometimes my fridge makes weird noises. I have like a mini fridge, you know, and it makes some strange sounds. I thought this was related. Play chess. This is not an advertisement for play chess. This is only the personal opinion of one player here. Play chess looks exactly the same as it did literally 20 years ago. It's kind of scary, you know. They're really a waste. I mean, they had such a great site, and they literally didn't do anything with it in 20 years. Very similar to ICC in that sense. Somebody's just putting away the money in their pocket, you know, stuffing it in there, and not putting anything back into the business. That's basically what happened with ICC. They don't invest any capital back into their business. They just keep, you know, buying swimming pools for the owner or something. I mean, those two chess sites like dominated chess for you know, in that period 20 years ago, online chess. They literally have not improved. It's kind of scary. I mean, I still have like the ICC interface with the command line. Of course, the other ones they offered really sucked, so White is nice. White is nice position here. He's got the two bishops very strong. I have two bishops too, but I guess what I like about White in this position is the power of the A1, bishop number 1, and secondly his structure. Structure is yeah. I'm just stuttering. I do that sometimes. I also have dyslexia momentarily. At times, would you rather be like chess.com? Well, chess.com didn't exist even till 10 years ago. Chess.com sucks even worse. Horse doo-doo. What we need is a great free chess site. Oh wait, we have one, lichess.org. There you go. The free nature of lichess.org ensures that it's not like, you know, solely for the purpose of, you know, the owner buying swimming pools for himself or something like that. People actually care about improving the chess site here because it's not for their personal betterment. They just love chess. See, I think that's the problem with those other chess sites. Like, the owners don't care about the site. They don't care about chess. They're just running the site to make money. Now, I want to play d5 and attack that pawn, but he's got this minority attack with b5 now. Another problem. White's played this very well. I can't really afford to move my queen again. I mean, this is just taking too much time. Maybe I should. Maybe b5 is a serious issue. I figured I'd just live with it, but it looks like he can build up a lot of pressure with knight d4 and b5 now. I may be in serious trouble. There's still money and prizes. Wait, what? Sorry? You didn't say money and online chess in the same sentence, did you? I mean, like, basically online poker is destroyed through corruption. And online chess, like, well, never existed because of the possibility of cheating and corruption. So you can have, luckily we can still have over the board tournaments, you know, and then still people try to run to the bathroom to use their mobile phones, but we can still keep it under control. There will come a day probably when it's even impossible to have over the board tournaments because of cheating. Get rich from online chess. Anyway, I'm just venting all my hatred for greedy chess site owners. b5 very strong. We have to move the queen again. I mean, this is a very serious threat. He's gonna triple eyes on this pawn, and I can't withstand the heat anymore. Basically, his knight also has another very strong maneuver, knight here to f5. So it's like dual or triple threat essentially. Big problems. The only thing going for me is that he's lagging his development a little bit, focusing just on the queen side. So his king is still chilling on e1 at this point. I'll have to play c5, it looks like. Question is, when and how? Queen e5 is interesting because where does he put his bishop, or how does he protect it? Like, he doesn't have a really optimal way of protecting that, does he? Come to think of it. Like, there's no convenient way to protect the bishop on a1. Of course, it just occurred to me that I dropped the pawn now. It's a sacrifice. His bishop's so strong, I didn't even consider him giving it up. It's like a mental block. And he didn't either. He could literally win a pawn with bishop takes f6 and pawn takes c6. Did not do it. The quintessential positional player, thinking about the position the same as me, that he's just not even giving the bishop up, wasn't even an option for him. But computer for a computer, it's like the first choice. Win pawn. You know, there's nothing to even think about. How strong is this guy? 1921. Is that the same situation where this guy and the last guy are the same person? They have 2 accounts and they challenge me with both? Is it one of those situations? Did these guys play back to back another time? We'll have to look. We have to look that up. They're both around the same rating and they both seem freaking strong for 1900. Is Mela Hemavati an Azeri name? That would be suspicious. We have had a few people who like tried to get like multiple games by challenging me with multiple accounts back to back. They're like greedy. They want to play me every game. This is kind of a dubious system. I played this once in the New York Open, the Queen B6. But this move is more or less like a refutation here, C4. He knows that. There was this old Russian master who I swindled and beat, but he had a good opening against me in the New York Open many, many years ago. It was like 1999. I just thought I'd play Queen B6, C6, and Queen B6 because it's kind of trappy, and if they don't know what they're doing, they can get a bad structure very quickly. But this player knew exactly what he was doing. So he has a nice edge here. Okay, the knight on B1's a little odd. He could have won a pawn with bishop takes F6. He's just going to flag? Seriously? That's weird. Why is he just flagging here? Perfect. Not perfect play by white, but good play by white. Computer says I'm better here. I can't imagine that's possible. I think this is just a total misunderstanding of the position. Now its advantage is dropping. I mean, my CPU is a little bit slow. They make like 7 accounts, challenge me with all of them. Udasin versus Yapishin. So see how white has a good score here. Though it does seem kind of skewed. Spike Ernst. Yapishin played this. Spike. So my stockfish is claiming that I'm still better after A takes B4, C5, Queen, C7. What? This is just analysis. That's funny. The engine wants to play knight F3 here in some lines. Kind of a cool idea. I don't know what it does. It's like sacking a pawn for development. So far we're following whatever theory here, if you want to call it theory. I'm playing like Grabarczyk. Bogdan Grabarczyk, whoever that is. I thought there was a grandmaster, but this may be a different guy. That's Grabluskas. Isn't there a Polish grandmaster named Grabarczyk? Wow, E5. That looks like a weird move. Novelty. Here, bishop takes A1, E5. There's a pigeon on the roof. Get out, pigeon! How dare you shit on the window. E5 possible. E3 TN. A very logical move. You got to admit that D4 is also, but it blocks the bishop on A1. White played this pretty well. I thought he was better. Peter says he's not. But after B5, the computer still doesn't think he's better. It didn't like my Queen A5. I thought he's threatening serious stuff here, with knight here and knight here. Alright, let's go. Next game. Where's my subscribers, guys? Ponda, takebacks here. Ponda will make another plead for support. Hey guys, please support the stream, okay? I don't have enough bamboo to eat, and it's getting kind of rough around here, so if you guys can feel it in your hearts, support the stream. Maybe donate some bits, or subscribe to the stream, and feed a panda, okay? Thank you so much from the bottom of my panda heart. Bye-bye. Yeah, Panda, yeah, okay, I didn't want you to beg like that, but... Okay, guys, please subscribe to the stream. As Panda said, I've got a, let's see, Fluke GM, not a subscriber. He's been here a lot lately. Takeback is a subscriber usually. Fish Rat Cow, thank you for subscribing. Pigeons are listed as being one of the most intelligent animals, along with rats. Like, it seems like elephants and whales get all the credit. Okay, large animals. Think of dolphins, whales, and those with large brains. Take back. Okay, I'm not going to play a mainline opening, I swear. I want to get a panda suit so I can do like a cosplay stream. Maybe for Halloween, we'll see what we come up with. E4, D5. Thinking of cows and ravens. So black played knight f6 now. What do we have against this that's out of the ordinary? An opening that I played myself a lot. I'm troubled trying to come up with something like unusual against it. Maybe let's see, d4, knight takes. Well, he can play the Portuguese gambit too. I seriously don't know what to play as an unusual system against the knight f6 Scandinavian. I'm totally stuck for an idea here. Serially. I literally don't have a clue. Without just playing some random move like knight a3. Let's see what pops up in my mind. Whisper it to me. 61 viewers, guys. We've had a lot of viewers the last couple of streams, and I appreciate that. Play a3. Hey, that's a useful move. I like a3. What's the problem? Oh, takeback's my opponent. I'm not gonna play your move, man. I thought you were a viewer. Oh, you are a viewer, but I'm not playing the opponent's suggestions. Sorry. I had an idea to do some sort of a4, like c4, knight b6, a4, but that's too slow, isn't it? You just, like, I can't even think of something unusual. c4, c5 is practically like a main line. Actually, not in this position. You're supposed to play c4, c5 the next move. If you play knight b6 and I play knight f3 and you play bishop g4, knight b6 and I play knight f3 and you play g6, we can have my game with Grishuk. Knight b6, knight f3, g6, a4. Let's see what we can think of, guys. Knight f6, though, this is a very, very rare move. 90% of games continue with knight to b6. You might argue that this is safer. And I had one game. No, I didn't have this. But it could transpose to a game I played, possibly. No, I take that back. I've never played this. But knight f6, you see it sometimes. It's a move. That's unusual. I have to play knight f3, not knight c3 because of e5, this type of Marshall idea with e5, the Frank Marshall break. So knight c3, e5 immediately gives black good counterplay. This is an essential move. Essential oils. Bishop g4 seems like a logical follow-up. Developing a piece. It feels more like a Slav than an e4 opening now. What's wrong with this move? Why is this not good? Queen b3? I have this for reals? Bishop takes f3, queen takes f3? It doesn't seem that bad for black. You could play knight c6 there. I think I practically have to play bishop e2. But now it seems like black got away with something. He got away with one. I don't know, I could try bishop e3 instead, but I don't think it's like a really... I'm trying to remember now. Move 11, one of our subscribers, had a game he showed me once against this guy from the Marshall Chess Club. And I'm just trying to think. The dude ever played... There was a dude who played the knight f6. This old guy played the knight f6 Scandinavian a lot. I'm just trying to think if they had a game once where this happened with... Basically more of a Slav. But c6 is kind of solid. Can't play knight e5. I could play knight e5, but I have to take back with a knight on e2. Unless I'm going to sack a pawn, which is a realistic thought, actually. Knight e5, take, queen takes d4, rook d1. Massive play. Then queen c5. Black's pieces are strangely placed, but I'm down a pawn. Let's nod and say we did. Take back with a big, boring position. It's a queen pawn game, I agree. It is pretty boring. I don't really like playing this structure where we just have a kind of target on d4. Not my favorite, but I mean, any engine is going to claim a rather significant advantage here for white. I mean, the space is not a joke. The space advantage is very significant. I'm sure that Stockfish gives me at least about half a pawn here if you put it on an engine. But it definitely isn't an exciting position, Bob. I agree. This is a very unusual decision to play bishop f5 as well. But I mean, what am I going to do? Like g4 and launch into craziness? g4, g5 is possible, but it's like radically weakening my position. We'll just play for a tiny edge. Trading pieces. Speaking of move 11, he had a very similar structure recently. Rook f d1 or rook a d1. Take, knight g4. Wait. The take-back's ridiculously fast. I would argue playing too fast, though. I talked about this yesterday in our viewer tournament. People are just not playing. They don't know how to play increment time controls. Take-back is playing as if he's trying to flag me in this position, essentially. Got to make sure my c4 pawn is protected. We lost the last game against him. That was the 30-30 simul. Crushed me. Okay, now I admit that this is hard to play. I wonder how strong take-back is. What is your rating, take-back? We've asked this question before, no doubt. I really don't have much advantage here. It's fizzled to almost 0 at this point. I usually like to play rook a d1 because the rook here either goes to e1 or supports f4, f5. Typically, you would go with that. There may be some reasons to play rook f d1. That's what move 11 did in the game in question. I actually criticized him for that. Putting his rook on a kind of weird square. have nothing here. I don't know how black could play physically any better than he's played in this game. It would be physically impossible to play better. We really don't have any information about this player at all. Although he's a subscriber to the stream, I have absolutely no info. How strong he is or anything, basically. He seems insanely strong sometimes, though his is bad against me. He almost always has a good position. And then, I don't know how he even loses. Kind of strange. He's played like literally perfect game here. I would guess he'd have to be 2000 USCF at the minimum, or high 1900s, and that would be stretching it. You know, he seems awfully good. I don't even know how he loses. Maybe on time, typically. Bishop c5. Whoa. Seems like a radically crazy move. Maybe that's it. He freaks out tactically or something. I definitely didn't play that well, but I have no time, literally. I didn't want the knight coming to f4. Knight h5, knight f4. In my face. It's harder for white to play than for black, essentially. He even has time to commentate in the chat with 43 seconds left. I wish I could do that, man. It's all I can do to not lose. I guess I had bishop h4 there to force him to weaken his king side, but I'm not sure that g5 is necessarily even a bad move. I'm not sure g3 is a good move. I do have a good king, though. Putting my pawns in the wrong color. Maybe we can take him out on time. This is definitely a boring game. Not boring in a time sense, but boring strategically. As Bob pointed out. Wow. It was kind of iffy. Do I have any tricks like taking on there? We have the b4, b5. With the outside pawn might be significant. Is this enough to win, though? Probably not. It's an amazing game by black. Wow, man. Did you make any mistakes? Did I make mistakes? I must have made mistakes. I mean, let's see the center pawn loss here for both sides. Although I was in massive time pressure, which I brought on myself, I feel like objectively neither side made any major inaccuracies throughout this game. Apparently I was better in one moment, but check out the center pawn loss here for both sides. Of course, nothing really happened. I mean, sometimes games are like this, that there are literally not really any tactics in the game, and then the center pawn loss is going to be down. But it's a hard position to play what I had there. It's a lot like a kind of hedgehog where, you know, yes, I'm better on paper, but it's actually harder to play the side with more space because there's like more responsibility and stuff. But this is an impressive hold by black. Apparently I was winning at one point somehow. Like g4, g5 was actually strong. Seriously? I mean, of course this is temptation and tempting, and this is temptation. Of course I considered it. But I was looking mostly at the stupid g5, and that's my problem, it looks like. The point is, in g5, I can play knight takes g6 and just settle for the two bishops. I mean, that's interesting. I think a lot of grandmasters would go for something like this. Takes, put the king on the white square, and then play like h4, h5, opening up the king side. But honestly, I mean, bishop f5 was way over the top. Like, nobody would do that normally. I don't know what made take back want to play bishop f5. I mean, this is just an exchange you want to make anyway. You want to simplify the game and then try to equalize. Computer says white's better by +1, but that's a computer, you know. Okay, so Dracofire, Super Sebi, Mega Knight, Tommy, Fluke, Artie, and Scoble. Scoble is the only, I believe, the only subscriber among the group. My problem was that I just kept focusing on g4, g5, driving the knight away from f6, and I thought that I'm kind of overextending myself a little bit there, and it wasn't all that clear. But the simple idea of taking the bishop or playing h4 instead of g5, you know, it seems weird to do that with my king already castled. So unusual openings, huh? Scoble is the gambit guy. Let's see what he plays against. Let's play knight c6. I have to do some videos for a chess site about maybe some certain openings, like overviews of openings, and they're asking me like what openings, you know, I can do, and I was thinking like maybe I should submit like to do something like knight c6, because there really aren't a lot of players who even play knight c6. You know, nobody's gonna want to do the parts of opening surveys on like knight c6. Who out there, you know, actually plays that move? Maybe I should try to do some analysis on this, an opening that nobody else plays really. Even though I'm not an expert, I have some interest in it. Okay, it's like a research paper. Knight c3, he just plays knight c3. This is definitely kind of unusual. e5 would transpose to a weird Vienna. I can play g6. d6 feels like the best move. This is definitely qualifying as unusual opening. I've been seeing the anacronym IQP a lot lately. Yeah, isolated queen pawn. The most typical of isolated pawn positions. Of course, it can arise through so many different openings. That's why it's so universal. Like literally 10 different opening systems can lead to like IQ, the so-called IQP. I wonder if it's more accurate to play g6 instead of knight f6 here. I mean, knight f6 doesn't actually do anything. Just play a kind of modern defense. Rubinstein, Nimzo, Indian. You know, it's a good question. You mean with white or black? I'm actually I've had struggles with black and the Nimzo in the Rubinstein system because I never really settled on a variation. I'm like the only person in the world who doesn't know the black side of the Hübner properly. But Rubinstein and Nimzo, technically you're talking about the move knight e2 after c5. And a lot of people, it's kind of a misnomer. A lot of people and opening sites just classify, or chess sites just classify like 4e3 as the Rubinstein system. But that seems like too broad of a generalization to call that the Rubinstein. Well, take back, my CPU is really slow, and I think its original evaluation was exaggerated. When it first started analyzing, it was like +2, but then it went down a little bit. But I agree with you. It's kind of weird. You know, how can it be such a good center-pawn loss after that? Very serious mistake. Bishop f5 should be more significant. We had almost the same game with Scoble before. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did bishop g4, like identical. For lack of a better move. He just went queen d2 or something like that. Wasn't that it? I don't have a better idea. Sladgie says +3. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I mean, that's like blundering a pawn or something. I mean, you should have a much higher center pawn loss after that move. And so should I for not punishing it. You know, without playing g4, I'm basically blundering too. So those should raise it up a lot, you know. Yeah, it's like it's ignoring that even happened in its analysis. If you guys want to contact me, please feel free to do so here in the stream. Bishop e3. Right, this is like our game from, I guess, Simul. I can't play knight d7 because the bishop takes f7 check. It's a serious problem. Literally thinking about knight h5 is the same thing. I think in the Simul I played castles here. What about e5? It's more central. I mean, Scoble's not the kind of player who likes trading queens. So I don't think that I really have to stress about that. And if pawn takes pawn, I could even play bishop takes f3, pawn takes f3, pawn takes e5. I'm sure that white has some advantage here. It's an interesting system. I mean, I'm the one that's playing something unusual by playing the Pirc with my knight on c6 early, essentially. It's like a hybrid between the Pirc and the Nimzovich. Yeah, JCS. Well, that variation became kind of trendy. I remember back in the day, like 20 years ago, seeing Michael Rode play that and being like, wow, that's really eccentric. And now you look at like, and I always played that in Blitz too, but now you look in the database and that idea of bishop f8 is actually very, very popular in the Rubinstein Nimzo. But what made you bring that up? You're talking about suggestions for me to go over openings? I feel like I'm kind of clueless. I know the Sicilian, classical Sicilian, accelerated dragon very well. With white, I'm not that specialized. Knight d4, bishop takes d4, pawn takes d4. We could sack a pawn here. My original intention was to play knight e7 now. It's a really crap square for the knight, though. Can we sack a pawn with knight to d4? I mean, one problem might be bishop takes d4, pawn takes d4, bishop e5 check. Okay, there. Bishop e5 check. I have to move my king to f8, which is actually relatively useful. Alright, let's just have some fun. This is probably not sound objectively, but I think in a practical game, it's totally viable. It's no doubt more correct to bring the knight back. I just don't see what my knight's going to do in the future from e7. b8 is a better square for the knight itself, probably coming back here at some point. Right, the dark squared bishop becomes a very strong piece. But on the other hand, Larson did this in the King's Indians sometimes, and it's a very typical idea, but he hasn't played c4, and that bothers me a little bit. Because he can play c3 and kind of kill the diagonal. Ultimately, I don't have as much counterplay as I'd have like a classical King's Indian where white's push the pawn up to c4. But it just feels like a more active choice for me than playing knight e7. I don't mind. I don't try to play materialistically. But I know against this type of player, Scoble, who's very aggressive, I think you'd rather err on the side of taking the initiative. You know, he's very comfortable with the initiative, and he likes to sacrifice pawns in the opening and stuff like that. So if you turn the tables on him, I feel like even though it's not like objectively sound, psychologically it's important to continue. Consider like what's the comfort zone of your opponent. People who love to take pawns and defend, this wouldn't be a good decision. But this protects my bishop on g7. I don't know if it matters. There is going to be some hell to pay with my rook, though. King e7. If I had more time, I would seriously consider king e7 as an option. This is like just a blunder. No, I get to get the pawn back, and I don't have any material investment whatsoever. Your bishop's for free. What's that Dire Straits song? Are we sure that's really Scobo playing white? Yeah, I don't know. He seemed to stop playing gambits against me. No, he played the same system. He's not sacrificing anything here. It's very uncharacteristic. Looks like now he's going to sack the exchange or something. Huh. Alright, well, I'd rather you give me the exchange. He did. He's like, gives material when asked. Okay, it wasn't too difficult to see that that's definitely a possibility. Your chick's for free. But what's the first part of the song? Wait, what's the first line? Money for nothing. That's it. Oh, so stupid. Alright. The Alzheimer's is kicking in. When I'm talking about songs like that, you know the Alzheimer's is kicking in. I actually went to a Dire Straits concert once. I didn't even really like Dire Straits that much, but this guy talked me into going with in Providence, Rhode Island. That was weird. There was a lot of like old people. All these like middle-aged people. That was like the time that I went to a, what was that other old rock group? You know you're old if you've been to a Dire Straits concert. Okay, knight on c5, that doesn't look right. I could just play queen e7. Feels kind of awkward. Yeah, a lot of 40-year-old chicks. Your chicks for free, Bob. No. Knight takes f2. Scoble's just melting down. That's when the point is you can't castle without losing an exchange. Yeah, but when you're like 20, there is, Bob. The Foo Fighters. Foo Fighters are like youth. Foo Fighters are sort of lame. All right. Poor Dave Grohl could never get out of the role of second to Kurt Cobain. He's the guy who played in Nirvana. All right, there's a little bit of compensation here for white. I have to be kind of careful. Yeah, one of my college fraternity brothers went to school with the lead singer of the Smashing Pumpkins. I'm actually giving him a lot of compensation. This is starting to bug me. I can't castle. This could go drastically wrong very quickly. Why don't I play like c5 or something? Stop threatening me. What? Wow. Scuba just panicked. He was starting to get some compensation. I was confused. Okay, that was funny. Has this opening ever been played? I wonder. Like, where do we leave theory here? It's a very strange move. He plays h4. Yeah, this is just the Scoble variation. I mean, basically there's quite a bit of theory here. Black's done okay, it looks like, across the board. But h4, it's his like patented line. It's quite interesting. I mean, it creates a unique situation where clearly bishop g4. Clearly bishop g4 is the best move. And then bishop e3. That looks right. Last time I played him, I did an analyze after the game, and it would be good to know what the best is here. So it looks like I played castles last time, I think. But this time we tried to improve with e5 right away. Okay, guys, let's move on. Information for next time. There's no other subscriber challenges, so we'll take this game with Dracofire, who I haven't seen in a long time. He's secretly the guy who already played me with b4. Just pretending. That's not him. They have the same rating. They both play b4. No, he switched to c4. He used to play b4. Now I'm supposed to play unusual openings, so we need something different here. From outside the box. Against the English. Well, there's nothing you can really do on move 1. Weakness of the mouse pad. It's a sunny day outside. The light from heaven is shining down again. Thank you guys for watching and supporting the stream. We have 69 viewers right now. It's excellent. Toruzo Attilo, International Master, was here earlier. Okay. Oh, we have to play h5. That's our favorite variation now, Dracofire. The Moksudlu Indich variation. I used to think that this is just something like Kamran Shirazi would do, but now all strong Iranian players play it. Clash Kid was kind of insulted that I played h5 against him, but this is a legitimate variation now. You guys are getting out of control. Getting out of control in the chat room there. Start the MILF discussion. Not intended for mature audiences, okay? This is a family channel. G3, H5. I think the best move for white is actually knight f3. And the point is like e4, knight h4, and black is overextended. Interesting try. So this is a very, very logical move by Dracofire. I mean, if we're gonna play in the spirit of Scoble, I think I would say play h4, sack a pawn. Is that even remotely sound though? I don't know that this is sound, but we're gonna try it. I can't believe JCS is making Major League Baseball comparisons. Why? He said, just why, Dracofire? Sacking a pawn here? Like it's the England Gambit. This is probably not sound, so don't try this at home. But I can take on G3, so there's something about this reminds me a little bit of the Gingy Indian or somehow. Is that weird? He's playing a Gingy Indian. Now we're running out of ideas. We surround the pawn with knight e7, knight g6. Do we play a check? Check in like check knight c3 doesn't look like a big deal. You can also even play bishop d2. d6 might be the most straightforward attempt here, just sacking a pawn for mobilization. I think that's got to be bishop g5 is possible. Probably his best move. I don't think objectively this is quite sound for black, but in a fast game we can try it. It's a nice chess discussion we have here. I agree. Bob's always in the thick of it somehow, though he tries to steer clear. Bishop g5, queen d7 is like a computer possibility. In a very similar position, I saw this evasive suggestion from the engine. This allows me to mobilize. I guess still bishop g5, but it's not as good now. Now we have the nastiness with like rook takes h2 and bishop takes g3 check. Guys, I'm streaming till 12:30 today. Indiscriminate. Okay, Bob, that's enough now. We're gonna have to time you out soon. Bishop takes g3 check. Pawn takes, queen takes queen. Recaptures and rook takes h1. Then he's got like knight to b5. Am I really concerned about that? I think it's something. I mean, so he has to take with the king on d1 to allow for himself to play like bishop. Isn't that knight to b5 at the end? That's going to create like legitimate counterplay for white. Bishop takes h3 check. No. This is just good for me. I'm out of my mind if I don't play that. I have bishop h3 at the end. It's ridiculous. Okay. Where's the panda? Okay. Everybody. Just ignore Bob when he comes back, okay? Thank you. You're in EST. What time zone? 12:30 is 6:30. It's a 6-hour difference. It's very easy to know what time it is where I'm at and where you're at. Just 6 hours. 6 is half of 12. Wait, who's Bob? Oh, it was a joke. Darn it. He just resigned. Let's see if anybody's gone into this opening. h5, d4. That's a tricky move. So I'm supposed to take on d4. This is a novelty, sacking a pawn here, but it's probably not sound. Let's see. The computer kind of likes it, actually. Came up with something new. Okay, knight f3, then what? d6. So I thought bishop g5 was like critical here for white. Though I'm very quickly mobilizing after bishop e7. There's the computer suggestion of queen d7. Black is better in this position. Wow. Black is actually better. So you're not supposed to play that. Bishop f4 is more constructive. Nice. It's basically like an Albin counter gambit I'm playing here. A really, really messed up Albin counter gambit. Baleful. Still a subscriber. Alright. So Baleful, as far as I know, was still a subscriber. At last I saw. b3. This is the second time today. I think I should play h5 with the idea of rook h6 getting off the diagonal. I know that's ridiculous. You know when you're a kid and you first learn how to move the pieces, your favorite strategy is like h5 and slide the rook up and start moving laterally? Did you guys all have experiences like that when you first learned how to move the pieces? That was my big thing in the very early stage. My aunt bought me this like board that had little training wooden like or cardboard cards that show you how the pieces move in the directions, and once I figured out that rooks move forward and sideways, I classically got that early rook out to a3, a6, h6 idea. Getting at the diag. I'm tempted to play h5 again. I'm a little bit, caught up with that. Sorry to stall the game here, but I love h5. That's my favorite move. h4 and h5. Guys, please support the stream with donations and subscriptions if you can. So we've got the a5. I think I played that last time against Baleful, maybe on the first move. That's something that I do from time to time. Sorry to drag this out so long. I just got to make a decision here. Let's just ignore it and play knight c6. Your checkmate of choice. The rook thing is hard to shake when you get like hooked on moving your rook up and then into the middle. Those guys, the kids at school you played when you got pretty good, and then the classmates who only knew how to move the pieces. They would always do like h5, rook h6, rook e6, or rook d6. They get the rook out there in the middle where it like got attacked by 100 different pieces. Very classic. wonder if it's reasonable to play d5 here. We'll just try something weird. The point being that if he takes out the knight to c3, he's going to block his own fianchetto bishop. That's the justification for bringing my queen out early here, if there is one. It's basically a Scandinavian. Question is where to go, which I didn't decide. Even queen d7, b6, bishop b7. Looks like a logical setup even Magnus would approve of. I'm not sure though. Magnusian. Because Magnus does this with white now. Against, like, the d6, what is it? He does that against d6 Sicilians. I'm doing the reverse Magnus. It's not quite as good to tempo down, though, it appears. Maybe I should just go back to d8 objectively. The Fish Rat Cow donated 100 bits. Thank you guys. We had 3 nice donations today. Mel Blanc, Dim. Actually, Dim was yesterday. And Fish Rat Cow. Keep the stream going, guys. Just, you know, a small donation like that is awesome. So g3. Again, 100 bits from Fish Rat Cow. Thank you so much. g3 is a good idea. He's dominating the white squares. Now I really regret not playing b6. Queen d7. But my problem was if I play queen d7, he doesn't play g3. He probably plays like e3 instead, a slightly different formation. Queen d7 blocks my bishop, so I have to play for b6, bishop b7, essentially. Okay, it's like a weird Mora Gambit reversed. The Mora Gambit reversed declined. But objectively, this is fine. A fine position for both sides. Traditionally, I played more often with white in the Sicilian type of formation. The Baleful has here. I would be more often in his sort of side of this position. But I have some appreciation for black's possibilities here. Let's say. I started to develop an appreciation. I have doubts about e3 being a good move for white. The polar bear system. That sounds cool. I guess I could have just gone knight b4, folks. It's kind of an obvious possibility. Might even just be good. Bishop f5 was like ultra developmental. But I might regret not having gone for knight b4 when I had the chance. Now it's even stronger. He's setting me up with bishop b2. Bear versus fish. Now he's like lost. Just neglected the d3 square, essentially in a Sicilian. Wait, Simon Williams was talking about the fishing pole or what? So is he not lost because of knight d3 check and then knight takes b2 and then he forks my pieces? You're telling me he's not lost here? So he's gonna get his piece back one way or the other. I have queen d4, which might be interesting. Well, I mean, the thing is, if I play queen d4, he has queen e2, and I'm still not winning a piece at the end of the day. I have really no clue what I'm doing. Bishop c5. Now he's going to have knight to d1 type of ideas to defend. The f2 square. He's threatening pawn takes f5. It's far from clear, really. I mean, I'm better, but how much better, objectively? I really just can't even decide on a move here. Knight d3, pawn takes f5, queen d4, and he has knight h3. And then bishop c5. I didn't even have a serious threat there. This is a nightmare to try to make a decision for black as to what to play in this position. I'll just have the knight, whatever. I'm just going to be practical and give him the piece back and develop my pieces. It's like it's a good Mora gambit for black, basically. But it's not even a gambit. I'm not even down a pawn. It's just a good position strategically with no forced win. The allergies. Hey, what's up? I had to take a Benadryl last night because I couldn't sleep. My nose was running and I feel like I have congestion. It's horrible. They need to clean up the ragweed in the Hungarian countryside or something. But I don't mean to, like, you know, cry about it all the time. What is going on here? He has another defense. But thanks for asking. He's going to put the king on g2 if I let him. I have knight takes e4, winning material. That's it. The secret move. Yes. Yes, Smithers. We found it with 40 seconds left. Paleful, very tricky. I don't think the Benadryl helps too much either. I must need a different Benadryl. It allowed me to sleep though, which was cool. Because Sunday night was like a disaster, or Saturday night. I had to play the Hungarian teams on Sunday morning, and I just like slept an hour or two in a night at the most. And I agreed to like a 13 move draw. He's even got counterplay here. Are you even kidding me? I want to play bishop d5, but he has counterplay against that too. This move might be a tad slow, so I can't actually trap his rook. So maybe he'll play rook takes c7. I'll just play bishop b6 and keep my nice two bishops and extra pawn, and not be too greedy here. The budget king, staying in the center while saving time and money without castling. Bishop c6 was a super greedy line, like trying to trap his rook, but it looked like he had some way to evade the threats there with rook e1. Quite a tricky player, this guy, this character. The budget king. Got good structure, 2 Bs. Man, I think he chose the wrong square there. He should have gone to e3. It's probably superior. Maybe this is good enough, though. This is as good as it gets, right? KG player. Sladgie. Some people call me Sladgie. The problem is, at the end of the day, I'm up a pawn. Rook and bishop, according to Josef Dorfman, is like the budget king worked out again. Very economical, you know. Not spending a move on castling in the opening. Oftentimes works out for the better. Baleful, very practical kind of cagey player. I almost want to say he likes having a bad position. Occasionally get opponents like that. Seem to enjoy defending from inferior positions. Well, bishop versus knight, you know, it all depends on the situation. How good is his king? What color the pawns are? I mean, I don't think you could just like universally say, oh, bishop versus knight is automatically winning, you know? I mean, there's a lot of factors that go into every different bishop versus knight pawn up position should be evaluated, you know, separately. He's starting to get too many pawns on the dark squares, though, which are going to become targets for my bishop. It's not really a good setup. Chess Ninja. So, guys, I think I have time for, you know, at least one more game, hopefully even more. Okay, why do I need to play that? Let's just play for space. I could have stopped a4, I guess. Again, we're fixing pawns on the right color here. The wrong color in his case. I'm an expert in pre-moving. Look how well he defends, though. You know he enjoys bad positions. Not that easy to break it down. Break it down. How do I break him down? F4 I can't play. My king can't really penetrate. The knight's just hanging. For how many moves has it been hanging? He just hung it for one move, literally. It's probably not a good move. I'm about to hang my rook. I'm so crazy. He's hanging his knight again. What am I doing? Does he repeat position there? I better make a pawn move. Well, now he's losing f2. What were we doing? It's ridiculous. We're both freaking out. Panic mode. I panic when I have like 7 seconds left. Literally. It's a little bit too much. Now there's no defense. No, he missed it. There was a defense. Silly blunders. I think I've got some lag too. Compliment. It's actually, how am I trying to say this? What am I trying to say here? It's making the situation worse. Compounding the problem is the fact that I have bad lag. So even having 7 seconds is like, it's basically like having 3 seconds with a normal connection. I have the equivalent of 3 seconds. Thank you, Bob. Yeah, let's check the lag. I mean, it feels pretty high. It says 81 now. But when I pick up a piece, it's like it's like glued to the computer screen with molasses or something. I try to pick it up and it won't move. I guess that the lag kind of comes and goes. Okay, Super Sebi's up next, guys. I gotta go in 20 minutes, so we have time for 2 more games. But we were making terrible blunders there at the end. He hung his knight twice. Even after I said he hung it, like he hung it again, I still didn't take it. I was essentially pre-moving. Super Sebi is a super tough 1600. Thank you guys for supporting the stream, hanging out with me today. Mel Blank and Fishrat Cow donated 100 bits. Fluke GM says you have win 10. I didn't play a lot of high-rated opponents today. Sometimes we get 21, 22, 2300 level opponents, but today it's been lower guys. So I haven't really, you know, I'm supposed to win all my games. If I'm playing people like 400 points lower, technically, I'm supposed to win like 100% of my games, more or less. Let's see what we got here in the Peerts. When lichess starts charging premium memberships, that's when I leave the site. Or if it gets bought out by another company or something, then I'm done. I'll probably go back to like FICS or something. Alright, I'm supposed to play an unusual system, but I don't know. What do you do against an amorphous check Pribble with knight d7? The check Philidor. I mean, what's unusual that I can possibly do here? You're kind of limited, really. You literally can make any move. What's an unusual system here against the c6, d6, knight d7? I'll play like knight h3. So what am I supposed to do? Let's try something radical. It's radically weakening my kingside with g4. The Grob. The Grob meets the Philidor Pribble hybrid. I mean, lichess will always be non-profit until. Well, I mean, I guess you know it is a non-profit. So even if like chess.com wanted to like buy them out or something, you know, I don't know if you can change its like non-profit status. So that'd be an interesting question. Hopefully, that's just like my nightmare scenario. You know, the lichess had to stop because someone bought it. Obviously, you know, we hope that would never be possible. E5 is the correct move here, highlighting like the fact that I've played g4 and e4. I have dark square weaknesses to some extent in this position. Okay, I don't think this is really a threat to take on d4. Let's shore up our g4 pawn. +3. What's that take back? +3 equals 13 minus 29. That's our record? What are you talking about? Yeah, that's what I would think, Bob. Well, it's the French. I guess legally they're established in France, but I'm sure the laws are very similar in France as in the United States. Both supposedly democratic countries. Some more than others. Okay, let's see. Bishop e7. That's a good move. Clamping down on the dark squares here, very logical. I was going to play knight e2, but now I'm actually having second thoughts. I think we might go back to knight f3 here, specifically controlling like these squares. My normal set would be like knight e2, bishop g2, maybe knight g3, but he has just too much control. Can lichess buy on Gustafsson? Maybe lichess can buy chess24 and make it not for profit too. I'm sure that's much more feasible. That'd be cool if that happened. So my focus is again on controlling the dark square weaknesses. I don't want to let that get out of control. That's the big weakness in playing g4. The downside of playing g4, when I already have an e4 based pawn structure, putting so many pawns on white squares imbalances my position in terms of color complex control. So my dark square bishop is a very important piece in the sense that it controls these potentially weak dark squares. I never played chess on chess24. I mean, it looks good, you know, from the marketing standpoint when you see their ads and stuff, I guess, but why do you need to go to a site like that? I mean, they have good videos. They should contact me to make some material. I'm available chess24. They do produce good premium content, you know, if you're willing to pay for it. Okay, queen takes d4. Weird position, but he's got an issue with that. So if knight f6, g5, knight h5 out there on the side does look kind of awkward. I certainly wouldn't have a problem with playing g5. But there's nothing that can touch that knight h5 except for the bishop on e2. Might be awkward to be able to exploit the knight on h5. Not easy to do. I could play h4, bishop h3, bishop g4. Yeah, their videos are good. I mean, I'm not going to argue with that. Gustafsson creates good material, and I certainly, wouldn't mock them for that. You got to take this pawn. I mean, this is principle. A matter of principle. Queen a5 is interesting. Just controlling the e5 square, overprotecting the e5 square. I mean, even if he's down a pawn here, he has some compensation in terms of dark square control. Even if he played something like queen e7, it isn't necessarily that easy for me to exploit being up a pawn here. The Panda is fine. Panda is here with me. Hey, maybe at some point we'll have a Panda telethon, and I'll have William dress up in a Panda suit, and we'll do a Panda cosplay telethon. That sounds like a good idea, maybe for Halloween or something. Anyway, good to see everybody. Just an idea to throw out there. Okay, thanks for the best wishes. Hope you guys are good too. Don't forget, tomorrow night is our subscriber stream, 6:30 p.m. CEST. Usually it's a small group here on Thursday nights, concentrated on the subscribers, but very good analysis. If you're a subscriber, you can submit a game Thursday night. I'm going to send or have William send a message out to all the subscribers to remind you about tomorrow night's stream. Bye-bye. Thank you, Panda. Yeah, this is the move I was talking about, looking for control of e5, avoiding the trade of queens, also threatening c3, incidentally. Hope my queen doesn't have any issues with getting trapped, but it has a lot of mobility, 3 different directions here, so it's not likely to get trapped. The sad Panda. Let's not talk about that website. It just makes me ill to think about it, Bob. So today we just focused on playing more unusual openings. Super Sebi just didn't seem like he ever really got the thread of this game. Is this the best move? I don't know. I mean, he could go back to f6, then I have to go here. Bring the queen back into the fold, so to speak. Looks good, though. I still don't have enough control of e5, but we're threatening discoveries. With his queen out on a5 looks kind of embarrassing now. Maybe something weird like queen b4 would allow e5, actually. I think that black is toast, objectively. At the end of the day, it's toast. Just a place to play chess. Banging downstairs. There's like construction all over my building. Like renewing like 5 different apartments. I live in a very old building. One of these like classic kind of European. Oh, he's got bishop h4 check. That's irritating. G5 first. Classic European old buildings. But you guys couldn't hear that. It was too distant. Super Sebi is known for his ability to not lose on time, even when it looks like he's hopelessly behind on the clock. He's a survivor. He believes in survivalism. I mean, this is just crushing. Everything's good now. Though bishop h3 might help him to castle queenside. I'm not sure I want to do that objectively. Got a lot of space. Trappage of rook. Control of the long diagonal. Okay, guys, last game for today with Mega Knight. It looks like Mega Knight 5+3. If he's here, if he's got 100 games. Never played Mega Knight before, but it's an intimidating name. Whatever. Last game for today, and then we'll be doing a subscriber stream tomorrow night. If you guys subscribe, you can submit a game for analysis for a 6:30 stream tomorrow night on Thursday, 6:30 CEST. Midnight Rhino, thank you for subscribing. I mean, I know you've been a subscriber for a little while, I believe, right? But I don't think I ever really said thank you for that. Let's see. A last unusual opening today. I try to play e4 and then try to play something after that. Yeah, maybe next time Fluke GM. So someone suggested the wing gambit. Yeah, we can try it. It's been played against me twice. I was thinking about it last night. I kept calling it like the Zarani variation, but looking at the database, you know, Kamran Shirazi, the Iranian grandmaster who used to live in the United States for years, who I know personally, Kamran's been playing the wing gambit forever, and he's actually the highest rated player, with kind of like one of the highest rated players with regular use of the wing gambit. He's been doing that, I guess, all of his career. Kamran, I think, had to escape his debtors by moving to Paris at one point. But Mega Knight just lost a lot of time with this mode of play. Shirazi was a legendary blitz player in the United States. He was one of the best blitz players, and he has a famous game where he lost against Jack Peters in 5 moves in the wing gambit. That's what made me think of it yesterday. But then when we looked through the games, we saw Shirazi game against good players. Like he beat someone really good, lost another one. Black's basically dropping a piece here. No, e6 is no good. I mean, e6, yeah, the e6 is a mistake. It allows me to get what I want. I increase my central control. It's not a very good line. Let's say that. Is there any danger of knight f6, knight c3, knight g4 with the fishing pole again? Then I can play queen e2. And if b6, it's a little awkward. You could try to set up b6, etc. See you guys on Thursday, Soltigo. We're out of here. I've got a busy day today. I have a lot of private lessons and stuff that I do, typically on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I have a busy schedule. Got to take off. A fishing pole is when you do the queen somewhere. Well, you know, typically this knight on g4, and then you support it by h5. So the knight is like the bait, and the fishing pole is actually the h pawn. And I'm about to mate myself in one move. He sacrificed a piece, though. Well, lost a piece, technically. I'm almost tired enough to blunder mate in one there. But, I mean, I don't have to play h3 necessarily. Maybe we have a better way of untangling here. He did establish this. I don't know who called it the fishing pole originally. Brian Wall, FIDE master, who I know from Colorado, he used to use this terminology all the time. But not clear who actually originated the name. He's the first one I ever heard make reference to it. He was kind of obsessed with talking about it. I mean, being up a piece here gives me the ability to do almost anything. What I'll do is I'll establish control of d6 and therefore block his play along the b8 h2 diagonal. Now knight b5 is actually also bishop c5. Now I don't have bishop c5. I take it back. Of course, you could play h3. One of their basic ideas in this so-called fishing pole type positions is taking the knight on g4 opens up the h file with mating threats in many situations. You think no, you got it mixed up with Bill Wall. There's a lot of Walls. There's Bill Wall, Tim Wall, Brian Wall. Maybe even multiple Bill Walls actually. There's a lot of Walls. So Tim Wall or Bill Wall were the ones that did the little booklets, the chess booklets. Different person. Gavin Wall. Wall is a popular chess master name. Guess it's just a popular name, period. I guess I should take the exchange there. I'm being a little overly conservative here with my last game. Still, he's not gonna die. We got the queens off the board. We got the bind. This is sweet. Now I don't mind playing h3. It's lost for black. He's got one pawn for a piece. He can't move his bishop either. It's pretty inconvenient. Literally taking away the fishing pole possibility. No squares, look. This is a classic strategic bind that you see sometimes in the, let's say, English opening. Well, knight f7 is his best move, freeing his position, but he's down a piece. And things are just falling apart. Nothing you can do. It's over. So maybe a better practical decision to play knight c6 in a game like this. Doesn't look like I have a mating attack of any sort without the queens on the board. So we just start collecting material. Well, if I play that move, I let him out. Maybe there's an argument for something different here. Check. Knight. Maybe knight f7. Though I like just getting myself fully mobilized. Now he has rook f6. Okay, we'll play knight f7 and then bring it out to g5. Playing for mate instead of being materialistic here. I could have taken his pawn on h5, but it lets him get his pieces out, you know, with like bishop a6. Isn't it rude for black not to resign here? Well, I mean, you know, there's always, you know, the question is, where do you draw the line? And that's never easy to really say. Yes, I think that playing on down a piece is generally rude, but you've got to consider the factors of time control and how much material he's actually down. You know, it's hard. I don't want to just say, oh, you automatically have to resign every time you're down a piece. Although, if it continues for a long period of time, you know, it is kind of rude. If it was a long game, I would definitely be like pissed off. You know, why is this guy not resigning? I'm a master. You know, this is a tournament game. He's down a piece. You're wasting my time. We have another round left in the tournament. I would be kind of pissed. But in a blitz game, you're down a piece. I think it's kind of a marginal situation, and I wouldn't get too angry about it. You know, that's the thing. I mean, it just depends on the situation. Plus, if they're a relative beginner, then I give them kind of a little bit of slack. Also, if the guy's like 2,000 and he's playing on like this, I'd be more apt to be angry about it. Almost mate. And then, as I said yesterday in one of my streams, in my stream yesterday, I don't know. If people play on, there's certain people who might play on the mate, like routinely every single game. And if they do that consistently, then it's kind of, I think it's more okay. You know, if you're gonna have that sort of rule that you always play out to the last move or whatever, then fine. Anyway, guys, thank you for joining me today. Chi said, in my first girls tournament, I played against a girl a piece up from the opening. She didn't resign. The game lasted 5 hours and ended up drawing it somehow. I mean, you know, I also, you know, have screwed up piece up positions. I think that the issue really becomes when it's like totally clear what the result's going to be. Like a piece up is one thing, but if you're like up a rook and a piece and there's no queens on the board and clearly like the other side has no counterplay, they just continue to play on, then it's kind of rude. But one piece, you know, it's never like completely sure. So a lot of people resign too early, in fact. You have to kind of like find a happy medium. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for playing. I'll be back tomorrow night with a subscriber stream with Aponda. Thanks again, Soltigo, for being our moderator. And thanks to everybody who subscribed. Please support the stream. Support the stream. Make a donation, okay? I'll see you guys later. I'm going to get some rest. Bye-bye.